Well, as you can tell, it's a new cloudy, rainy thunderstorm day. Today I'm going to demonstrate how to properly detail an HVAC duct because we're in fairly tight quarters on this mock-up to do the HVAC duct before I can do the window. So typically you're going to have ducting run close to the outside of the sheathing from the inside. You're not necessarily going to have access to the ducting from the inside. This will most likely be just placed rigidly so that it's centered in the hole. We've got a rain screen duct penetration termination, I guess it's called, and basically we would just be running that so that it's lined up on center with the duct. Then we're going to put some rope backer rod in to provide that bond break at the back of the sealant joint and to ensure the right profile of sealant joint. And that will then allow us then to put in the sealant around, which will give us the airtight and the watertight barrier. Then it's just a matter of shingling the furring strips and the siding over top like you would any square penetration. So I'll go ahead and start detailing this now. So this is a fast flash that I'm applying. Make sure I've got a continuous bead. I believe best practice is to normally put in the fast flash onto the sheathing. I'm running really low on the product, so I'm kind of skimping a little bit. Obviously I want to make sure that this is still waterproof, but I'm using as little product as possible just to finish this mock-up. So I'm going to make one change to this. I talked about not putting the product on the bottom of the enclosure, but we do want to form an air seal. We have an exterior air barrier approach, which means that this needs to be airtight where it attaches to the sheathing, which means I do need to have some product along the bottom to seal. Make sure we have a nice air and watertight termination. Now the R-Guard best practices is that this has been flashed with the fast flash. As mentioned, I don't have a lot of this left. I'm down to my last little bit, so I'm going to save it for areas that I really have to have it, and just make a little bit of a trawled edge here with the part that's sticking out. Okay, so I've just installed the backer rod. I believe, and I'll correct this with text if it's not correct, but I believe the R-Guard product that you would typically install here would be the joint and seam, because there will be a potential for movement with the differential movement between the ducting and the wall assembly. In this particular case, I'm just going to use some silicone caulking that I have on site because I'm running out of joint and seam, and it's Sunday, and this product came up from the States, and I'm not going to have an opportunity to get more product in time for my testing of this assembly. So just pretend that the product that I'm applying is joint and seam. I'm just going to put some leftover caulking over the screw holes just to make absolutely sure that we're airtight and watertight. Okay, that's basically it. Now we just put the flapper back on, put the hood termination back on, and that's now detailed and air and water tight to the wall assembly. Obviously you want your HVAC crew to be taping and sealing all of the joints, either with a tape or a liquid mastic of some sort, not mastic but sealer. But this is now airtight to the wall assembly, and that's the responsibility of whoever is installing the termination itself to the wall assembly. This is built out to allow for the rain screen gap capillary break. So now you've got that second plane of protection. This is sealed to the first plane of protection, or I guess this would be the second plane of protection. This is the water resistant barrier, WRB, and then once we get the termination, this gets installed in. This now becomes the second plane of protection, or the water shedding surface. Okay, thanks for watching, and hope that you continue watching the other videos.